I want to introduce Jon to brain sex. Kevin Estela for Fieldcraft Survival. I am here at the farm range complex right now with a good friend of mine, Eric Gelhaus. We just happen to be in the same spot at the same time. No BS, this was not planned. And I will tell you that if you were to ask me like top 5, maybe top 3 most formative instructors in my shooting career, this is one of those gentlemen. I've never actually trained the shotgun with Eric, but I've trained pistol with him. And we have a lot of similar friends in the shotgun industry and shotgun world. What we originally intended for this video was for me to walk Jon Park through the shotgun, because Jon is a man amongst men, even though he doesn't like to admit that. In fact, he's shaking his head right now and he's very much blushing, as much as a Korean man can blush. Instead of me teaching Jon the shotgun, I want to pass the buckshot to my good friend Eric, who is an instructor here in Utah at Thunderstick, with an instructor with Cougar Mountain Solutions. This guy knows the shotgun inside and out, and I believe that it's always the best man for the job. So with that being said,
well, thank you. You are way too kind.
I try, you know. So you may see this gentleman in some courses coming up. Guys, get used to this. And here we go. Let's do this.
Loading the shotgun depends on whether you're loading the magazine tube or you're going in and loading through the ejection port. Regardless of which way I'm going though, when I acquire my shell, when I get it from the pouch, side saddle, wherever, I'm going to try to hold it between the index finger and the pinky. The brass down at the pinky end, opening of the shell at the index finger. If I'm going right to the loading port, I'm going to find the trigger guard, come forward, push up, roll my hand, and push the shell all the way to the magazine tube with the thumb. What I'm not trying to do is stab it at it. Right? So again, I come down, find the trigger guard, loading port, push it in. Now to go to chamber around, go to the action release on the Mossberg. It's the back of the trigger guard. Remington 870s that sits up front, but I'm going to press the action release up into the receiver and work the action. You're not going to break it. Be as forceful as you need to be with this, right? So now I have a shell in the tube, in the chamber, still have shells in the magazine tube. I can go from there. Mounting. You have the pocket of the shoulder. I like to take the toe of the stock, put the toe of the stock in the pocket of the shoulder, and I can work from a low ready position here. When I grip the shotgun, my thumb's going to the safety at the back so I can push it forward with the thumb as I come up onto target. There's 2 methods of kind of managing the recoil on the shotgun. The first is what I grew up with, a pull-pull. I'm pulling the stock back into the pocket of the shoulder and I'm applying pressure to the forearm, just slight rearward pressure to it. As I come up, I take the safety off, get my sight picture, press the trigger, work the action, come back up on target. The other option is the push-pull, which came from Rob Hott back in West Virginia. Rob, longtime shooter, very early IDP advocate, taught a lot of shotgun work for the FBI over time. As the gun comes up on target, safety's off, he pulls back on the stock into the pocket of the shoulder and applies forward pressure to the forearm. So it's up, sight picture, work the action. That's the difference between the pull-pull and the push-pull. I'm very comfortable with the pull-pull on a pump shotgun, but push-pull works well for folks who can do it. It also translates to semi-auto shotguns and over to dangerous game rifles as well.
Real quick before we go any further, something that comes up in every single class is how you have the shotgun mounted right now. It's the competition reload. I always say that there's a compromise. You're breaking your master grip. You're removing your finger away from the trigger area. What's your hot take on this style of loading?
The phrase I hear used for it is violin load, all right? So you're basically setting the gun up like a violin player would have it in, right? So I'm coming from my shooting position. I'm rolling the gun inboard and putting the flat of the stock up on the flat of the shoulder. I see merit to this, and it took me a little bit of time to adopt this, but what this allows me to do is if I'm using a weapon-mounted light, I can keep the weapon-mounted light activated and keep it on the area of concern or whatever I shot and put down on the ground, right? So I can do that. If I have to move and reload on the move, right? This is easier for me to do that from here versus trying to keep the gun in here and reload while moving, right? So that's the thing. We did kind of touch on dual and quad loading. Most folks aren't set up to do it, so it's not something I generally teach in a defensive application, right? So I'm here. If I can deal with the barrel of the gun heat-wise, I will bring my hand back so that when I come down, find the shell, my hands know where to meet, and what I'm doing is muzzle still pointed down range, just I'm using the light. I come in and make the hands touch.
So very much like loading a pistol.
Right. So what I'm doing is I'm still paying attention to everything. It's in my peripheral vision. I come up, run that shell right to where my hands touch, okay? Now I can go back into a fighting position with it, right?
That makes sense.
Again, movement or making use of the weapon mounted light while I'm doing the reload without having to deal with the weight that some folks can find a little bit problematic.
Fair enough.
Okay, John, so you saw the demos. What we're gonna do is give you a little bit of dry work first on this, right? The shotgun has a push, you're managing recoil, but it's not gonna beat you up if you pay attention to it, right? The analogy I use, and I've got Kevin here, is I'm gonna punch Kevin in the shoulder as hard as I possibly can, but I'm gonna give him a choice. I can start with my fist here, or I can start with my fist here. This is the preferred way to do it. Whether you're pulling, or pulling and pushing, get the stock coming back into the pocket of the shoulder. Don't give it the ability to run and slam like that punch, okay? So we're gonna do a little bit of dry work first. So go ahead, face back down range. All right, two things we're gonna work on coming up from a low ready with the muzzle depressed is taking the safety off as you come up on target, okay? So go ahead and run the action forward. All right, as you come up, bring the sights up to your eye level, push the safety forward so that it's off when you get there. Okay, now you've got a sight picture, press the trigger and work the action. Okay, safety back on, come back down to a low ready. All right, let's go ahead and do that 5 times on your own. Go. Okay, on that one, did you see how you were all the way up, had a sight picture, and then took the safety off? It'd be like working with an M4 carbine, right? Now you've got that time where you're there, but you're not able to use the gun. So try to work them together. All right, go. Good.
Ooh, line 6.
I was talking about the safety. Okay, but we got the action run. All right, come back down. Again. Okay, safety on. All right, this time what I want you to do is after you press the trigger and you hear the click, I want you to say boom, chunk, chunk. So you come up, boom, work the action, coming back, that's the first chunk, going back forward's the second chunk. All right, go. Safety off. Boom, chunk, chunk. All right, does that kind of help with the process? All right, let's do that one more time. Go.
Boom, chunk, chunk.
Excellent. All right, does that kind of make sense now, right? We're bringing the gun up, we're taking it off safe, we've got our sight picture, break the shot, work the action. So now let's go ahead, you've got the dummy rounds on you, let's go ahead and load the shotgun. So come down, find that first shell, go ahead and get it between your index finger and your pinky. Now, there's nothing wrong with what you did because that's the way it came out, but I would set them up the other way so that I could grab it to where the brass goes to my pinky and the mouth of the shell goes to my index finger. So you got the action closed on an empty chamber. We're gonna go ahead and load the shotgun. Now this is kind of the administrative part of it, all right? So keep the stock up in the pocket of the shoulder. Come down with your support hand, find that shell. You're holding it between the pinky and the index finger, find the trigger guard, come forward from the trigger guard into the loading port. Just apply upper pressure and push in, yeah. Now go ahead and do that again, a couple more times. So here's your stabbing at it.
Okay.
Right, what I want you to do is hold that shell between the pinky and the index finger, find the trigger guard. As you come forward, the shell will pop up into the loading port against the carrier, and you just apply pressure while you roll your hand and push in with the thumb.
Okay.
That allows you to maintain positive control on that shell, okay? So now we've got shells in the magazine tube. We want to go ahead and work the action, right? So come back, hit the action release with the middle finger of your shooting hand, run the forearm all the way to the rear, slam it back forward, okay? Now you've got a round in. If you want to do a chamber round verification, which I default towards preferring, I'm still going to keep my shooting hand on the gun, crack the action, and just work it back enough to where I can see and or feel for that shell there.
Is this called a press check too?
Yeah, press check, chamber round verification, right? So now you're set to go. Gun's loaded, you've got extra ammo on you. Let's work this dry a couple times. As you come up on target, safety off, sight picture, press the trigger, and run the action. Go. Safety back on, again, go. And once more, safety all the way on, go. Okay, how do you feel with that?
Takes some getting used to.
It's new, right? And like anything else, new skill is gonna take some time. Be deliberate about it right now. And if you have to talk yourself through it, right? Safety, sight, trigger, run, action, repeat, there's nothing wrong with that.
Okay.
Another position is the high ready. It used to be called the outdoor ready. It's for working when you're out in an open area. You might have brush that you don't want to hang the muzzle up on, or you're in a structure where there are things you don't want to get the muzzle caught on. You can also use it in low light inside a structure where you can do the umbrella lighting, right? It's another way to work it there. So go ahead and come back to your low ready position. And then what we're gonna do is elevate the muzzle, but bring your buttstock down about the belt line, right there. I try to set it up so that my eyes, my front sight, and wherever I'm looking at are all in the same plane. And I will move the gun with my head as I look around. Again, I'm keeping that buttstock down about the belt line. As I go to bring the gun up on target, I'm gonna push the muzzle forward almost like a spearing motion until I can bring the buttstock up to the pocket of my shoulder and pull it back in. So go ahead, push forward with the front sight and come back, pull it in. Yep, that's it. And you would also take the safety off as you're mounting it from there. Okay, so let's go ahead and run that dry a couple of times. Be deliberate about it, John. Go.
Do you want me to?
If you want to run it dry, that's fine. Okay, safety back on, come back down. All right, it's eyes, muzzle, wherever the threat or target is, go. Okay, and run it one more time dry. Go. Okay. John, any questions on that? Working from high ready or an outdoor ready, as some will still call it?
Nope. No questions. It's just very new to me.
Yeah, but you're used to working from that position with a carbine.
Yeah.
And to some degree working that with a handgun, right?
Yes,
So it's similar principles, just the mechanics get a little bit different. Done it dry, you've done it with dummy rounds. Let's go ahead and go live with the shotgun now, okay? So go ahead and load it up. Like that, found the trigger guard, came into the loading port, applied pressure, pushed it in with your thumb, nice job. Now you're getting close to kind of trying to stab it in there, right? If you hold it here, you can retain it. It's easy to find that trigger guard in the loading port. There you go. All right. Now we need to get around in the chamber. What do you have to do for that? Excellent. All right. Got your target down range. Go ahead, give me a single shot. Go. All right. See how you paused here? You took all the felt recoil, the push from it, without making it work for you. So now you're gonna end up having to go ahead and cycle the gun on your own. So what you wanna do is, like I said, either push forward and pull back when the shot breaks, or pull back, have it loaded slightly, so that you can run the action under recoil, make that impulse work for you.
Got it.
Okay. Single shot, go. Excellent, much better, right? Did you feel a difference between the first shot and that one?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's go ahead and do that 2 more times. Go. And again. All right. So any questions on that? How did it feel for you?
It's a punch.
Think of it more as a push.
Yeah.
I mean, you're an adult human being, right? But it is a little bit of a push, but that's why we talked about, right, either pull or push-pull to help kind of mitigate that impulse for you.
That was good. That was fun.
Excellent. Welcome to the club. We've made the transition, John, going to double-aught buck now, so let's go ahead and get it loaded up. And what John's shooting is Hornaday's Critical Defense. They have a couple different versions, but essentially it's their variation of the shot cup that most folks know as flight control. They all tend to come out about 1,600 feet per second out of the test shotguns. Here's what it looks like. The other versions are Hornaday Black and the Tap Light Magnum. You ready, John? Yep. For the incredibly punishing recoil, no, it's not. It's an impulse push, right? It's not gonna pick you up and launch you off your feet. All right, give me a single shot to the target. Okay. Come back down, shotgun back on safe. Again, go.
Ooh, I saw a flinch there, John.
Okay,
Come
so
on, man.
now what do you need to do? Work the action.
Yes, sir.
So what probably happened on that one, I thought you ran it, you may have short stroked it by not running it far enough back.
Got it.
So just on the shotgun, right, all the way to the back, all the way forward. All right. So again, give single shot to the target, go. Okay, are you all the way forward?
Nope.
Didn't eject.
That was a
Or maybe
live
it
one
did.
that didn't go into the chamber.
Man, gotta stop being Asian fast.
So you fired the shot, you worked the action, case didn't come out, right? So for whatever reason, the extractor claw didn't hook the rim of that case and bring it out. If you get something like that, work the action again. Now, this is where you can get a true double feed, kind of like a rifle. If it doesn't pull that, but it trips the next shell onto the carrier and you cycle it, you're going to get a double feed with it, right? One that's in there and a second one trying to come all the way in because of a failure to extract.
Yep.
You got 2 rounds in the gun. Let's see if you have a round in the chamber.
There is a round in the chamber.
All right, and is there a round in the magazine too?
No. So one of the cool things I'll just want to throw in here, John, is Cody from Bang Comp always talks about how the back of your follower in the mag tube is gonna have a different feel than the back of a shotgun shell. So if, I know your background is a little bit more clandestine than mine as a hunter, but that being said, you can reach up there in low light conditions and feel if there's a primer or if there's a hollow. Yeah.
So just like if you did a chamber round verification with an M4, right? You're cracking the bolt and you're feeling for it, okay? Similar thing. Okay. So you've been firing single shots. Let's go ahead and fire a pair now of double-aught buck. Be deliberate. You don't have to Ricky Bobby this. Go. Okay. One thing I noted is you were coming off the trigger in between every shot, right? Kind of like some pistol work. If you know you're firing multiples, just make contact with the trigger till you're done with it versus bang, bang. Okay. Other than that, how did it feel? Oh,
Bigger punch.
Did you not eject that shit? No, John.
You can make up for it with 3 rounds.
Yeah, I told you I'm new to this.
Let's go ahead and work 3 this time. All right. And just the one thing I ask you, John, is be deliberate. Sight picture, break the shot, work the action all the way to the rear, all the way back forward each time. All right. So 3 hits to the target. And this is something you can work on with dummy rounds at home. You can sit on the couch, right, and work the mechanics of that loading process. Stand by. Go.
Rack that slide.
Okay. Almost, but you're getting the mechanics down, right? You're getting more time with it, you're getting more reps with it. That's gonna make everything more comfortable for you.
That's fun.
Excellent, I love the shotgun. So we've been doing everything with birdshot and now buckshot, right? And we're gonna talk a little bit about going to a slugs. Slugs, a single projectile, usually about 1 ounce of lead in it, right? Can vary a little bit depending on the manufacturer. Why would I go from the shot and the benefit of multiple projectiles giving a little bit of spread to a single projectile? It's distance, or it's the nature of the shot, right? If I have a high value shot, a precision shot I need to take, I may well go to the slug for that, all right? So kind of historically, we broke shotgun engagements down into 3 zones. Muzzle to 5 yards was the first one, people called it the A zone. From 5 to about 20 yards was the second zone. It was where you got the benefit of the spread. And historically, somewhere between 15 and 20 yards, the pellet spread would outrun your ability to stay on a target. As the original federal reduced recoil loads in the 90s came out, followed by the flight control and the Versatite, we started seeing folks that if you used a Vang barrel, you could push that B zone, not to 20 yards, but 30, 35 yards in some cases, all right, depending on what your backstop is. Still, if it's a gun that you're not familiar with or you haven't had a chance to pattern with it, going to a single projectile will work. You have to shoot this like a rifle. Okay, so we need to get a good refined sight picture, good deliberate trigger press to put the projectile, the slug, where you want it to go. It is designed to penetrate. I really liked them when I was still working law enforcement for counter vehicle work. The Brunica slugs, especially with their shoulder for window glass and working through car bodies. Okay. There's other options for that, but I always preferred the shotgun for that role. All right, so we're gonna have you go ahead and shoot the slugs now.
Okay.
So we just talked, John, about the benefits between buckshot and slug, the differences between buckshot and slug. Go ahead and give you the chance to shoot some slug now. So go ahead, close the action up and load it up with slugs. All right, 1 shot 5 times. Go. Work that action all the way back. On your own. Okay.
So same thing happened as before. It jumped the catch, and I don't think it ejected. Here's another. All right. Okay, guys. So this has been a great day of shooting at the range so far, but you know, Murphy's Law definitely came into play. And what I can say is that we did not have a user error, we had a mechanical error. And what happened is there is a spent shell inside the receiver that has not extracted. So Eric is gonna work his way through it, and maybe we can see some magic happen.
And we already tried putting a pry tool in there in the channel for the extractor to see if we could pull it out, and we couldn't. So what I'm gonna try to do is it's called mortaring the gun, right? I'm gonna open up the action, apply pressure to the forearm. I'm gonna smash the butt into these railroad ties that are here, right? You can also do this with an M4 carbine if you need to open it up. The biggest thing on this is gun should be unsafe if at all possible. Finger stays away from the trigger, and it's not an issue here because of where the muzzle sits, but do everything in your power to keep the muzzle and your head as far away from each other as possible while still keeping the gun oriented straight up and down. All right, so come in, I'm gonna hit the action release, I'm applying pressure to the forearm, and what I'm gonna try to do when I slam this down is hopefully the extractor claw engages and pulls the shell out. Yep, and it did it.
Game on!
One shot at a time, work your way through it, John. Okay, little bit of a pre-ignition push on that one.
Can we just take a moment to look at that target?
I hadn't even looked at that yet.
Just for a hot second.
I mean, we're only 10 yards, but...
Oh, stop, still.
Stop. So, 5 shots.
Yep.
We're sitting there looking downrange at the target. Yeah, they're not all touching, but my hands, which are not big by any stretch of the imagination, those 5 hits are, my palm will cover them, right? This is brand new to you, right? So we went from working it dry, working dummy rounds, birdshot, buck, to slugs in a relatively short period of time, dealing with a gun-induced stoppage, right? And got you to that in that period of time.
Yeah, awesome. It's a huge learning moment.
The nice thing about the shotgun is, right, once you pick this stuff up, you can use it in a variety of roles. You can take small game and birds with it, right? You can take larger critters, use it for home defense. With a slug into it, you can do dangerous game. Folks up on the Arctic Circle go up there and do bear patrol for the geologists, geographers with 12-gauge semi-auto shotguns, right? So it fills a variety of roles.
You guys have asked for more shotgun content, and we are here to deliver. Whether it's me as one of the instructors or Eric or one of the cadre of instructors, you can be guaranteed that we're going to present very practical information with good logic behind it here at Fieldcraft. So please check out Fieldcraft training for upcoming courses near you, and we'll hopefully see you on the range.
Wait, hold on. Does Eric have courses coming up anywhere?
Oh, that's
Yeah,
a
please.
great question. Eric,
Let's plug Eric's
do you have any courses?
So, Eric Gelhaus, my company's Cougar Mountain Solutions. You can find me on the internet, cougarmountainsolutions.com, as well as Facebook and Instagram. April 10th or 11th, it's Friday, it's a Saturday, Sunday, I'm doing a 2-day shotgun class up in Western Washington at Firearms Academy in Seattle. May 10th, I'm doing a 1-evening shotgun class back at the Shore Gallery Range in Lincolnwood, Illinois, just outside of Chicago. And I've got other classes coming up over the course of the year. Appreciate being involved in today. Thank you for your time.